Hi, my name is Paul Cresswell. Welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. The purpose of this channel is to give you reviews of tackle that's been out on the bank, tried and tested by an unsponsored angler, and that's me. Today I'm going to take you through the Matrix folding side tray. These have been out a couple of months. I ordered one straight away. I thought it's definitely something that I wanted and I wanted to try, and I thought there'd be a lot of interest in this. I've been on the bank a dozen times, so I've got lots of experience, learnt all the little ins and outs and the quirky bits about it, and I'm going to show you the tray in full, and as usual I'll give you all the detail. So let's look at the tray, and that's it in folded mode. Now I've also got the Matrix extending side tray that goes in and out like that, and one of the things I didn't like about it is there was nothing to stop it going in and out, and occasionally you'd trap your fingers and whatever. So this is the tray folded. I think we're around 45, and there to the top of there is around 54 centimeters folded, and that's quite a nice size, and I just put that on top of my trolley bag when it's on the barrow. So it has these little clips, so they're held in place, and you just undo them there to get your tray. So what you'll see is you need to get used to handling it, because there's 3 arms on here and 3 brackets, and obviously you've only got 2 arms. And I found the best technique for putting it on is to hold the back 2. Obviously you've set all the settings right there. Tighten up the handles, nice easy to use handles, and there you go, that's the tray fully in place. I'm going to use it to put, I was going to use it to put my iPad, but I don't think I'll be able to see it, so let's have a look. So I also think, obviously you saw me doing that while I was sat on the box, I put it on. I think it's quite difficult to put it on your box if you're not sat on your box, so it's something you need to bear in mind when you're doing it. It's got a perforated top with a bit of crushed expander on there. Brilliant, lets the water run through, but your baiting needles won't go through. And the clever design here is that the middle bracket is on a bar, and that's in a fixed position, but these 2 brackets can move. So you have a little clip, and I'll put some photos, and you push the clip down and then it will slide from there to there. So it should be able to fit most boxes, and then importantly clip it back up and it's nice and secure. So what I will say is there is a limit on how far they will slide at either end, and I've got this on my MAP H36 box, and from the middle of the leg in the middle to there is just under 40 centimeters, so it's kind of 397 millimeters. If the gap between your middle leg and your front leg is more than that, this will not go any further. That's on the massive, on the highest setting. I think it's unlikely that you're going to find you're going to have your side 2 legs 40 mil apart, because it'll be quite a strange box, but you need to bear that in mind. The other thing I didn't appreciate when I bought it. So I have my box and I have two extenders on my side legs because I like my tray fairly high, and that's how I've got it. And I didn't have any kind of extension on the front. If you don't have one at the front, then it's not going to work. So you have to have your box attached at all 3 points. So I've just taken the bracket off. If you don't, it's not really an extending side tray, it's an extending side tray with a bit of a drop off. So you can see that you do need 3 fixing points. Thankfully I found an old 25mm leg, and as with all of these products, they fit 36mm legs if you don't have any inserts, but they do come with the yellow ones for 25 and the blue ones for 30mm. I don't know whether I'll be able to put this on while it's in situ. Right, we're back to where we were, and the tray all nicely there. So again, just to repeat, it needs fixing at 3 points. The old extending side tray, I just used to put on here, slide the other bit out, and it never really sagged or moved, and it worked quite well. So you'll need to bear that in mind. So let's measure the area. Brilliant piece of planning. Yeah, Matrix said it was 90.5 centimeters, and they're right. And then we're 42 centimeters across. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a photo on now, and it's going to have loads of tubs on there so you can see how much stuff you can get on. It'll also prove to you that I'm not a tackle tart, because you'll see about 7 different types of brands of tub on my side tray. So I put it on, and I don't have a supporting arm on the tray, and it does tilt away slightly. So I've measured the difference between there and there off the floor, and it drops about 5 centimeters. And very cleverly I went on the internet and I've produced a formula that has determined that that has a 7-degree slope. So it's not a big slope. It's not something I notice when I'm fishing. Whenever I'm fishing, I don't feel like everything's moving away from me. It stays where you put it. Quite often though, I get off the box and I see it and I think I really ought to get an arm for that, but it doesn't need an arm. Equally, this bracket here that attaches at the front and back, the removable ones, you can buy them separately, and you could put one on the other side, and you could put a leg as well if that's what you want to do. I've tried legs in the past. Most of the places I fish, you can't get a leg down. If you do need support, you need an arm. I don't think this needs it. They do a bigger version of this, so instead of 42 that we measured there, it's 50 centimeters wide, and that must be a humongous capacity. But even Matrix say you're going to need some kind of support if you're using the XL version of the tray. So there's a few other little positives here. The first one is I've got this quick release side tray clamp, and I got that when I got my self-supporting tray, which I tend to use in winter, whereas I don't need as much space. These are around a tenner, and I put it there. Now you can put these where you want for whatever purpose you want, but I have the excellent matrix clicker and I put that there, so it's really easy to get to. I can start the stopwatch, click my fish, it's not in the way, it's not causing me any problems. There is a separate video on my channel about the clicker if you're interested. They also do something called a clip-on side tray if for some reason you wanted to make it bigger, and they're about 20 quid, and I think they just clip on. I don't think there's any great mechanism to that. I guess you could fill that gap there, or you could put it on the end. I've got no need. As messy as I am, there is sufficient room for me on here. My mate says to me, what are you getting next? A paste table, because how far are you going to take it? There is a removable side tray hood that you can buy for this, so it clips on there, it clips on there. I've got one of them for my side support, self-supporting tray. If you watch that video, you'll see it. They're easy to put on, easy to take off, and you get a hood. But what I will say is, I'm not now a fan of hoods on the trays, because, and if you've seen my video, you'll know I have the Pro bait brolly, so it's attached there to my leg, it's overhanging there. It comes with a little brolly, and you just simply clip it in. You can tell when it's in, and that covers that tray perfectly. So I was out yesterday, torrential rain for 4 hours. This was the perfect setup. I had maggots, I had pinkies, I had no problems at all. And the great thing about the bait brolly is, if you don't need it while you're fishing, you just take it off and you just put it behind you. So it's not in the way, it's not taking up the edge of the tray. Obviously, if you fit the matrix folding cover on, you're then gonna have to take it off at the end of the session and carry it separately anyway. So I've got the arm, and I've on the video about the arm, you can see there's various positions you can put it in. 9 times out of 10 that covers my tray, and it covers this tray really well. A few other bits and bobs. So I have my landing net support arm, not patented. If anybody wants to bring one out, basically it's an old matrix bracket with a little roller in there. I know people put rollers behind them just for there. I think this is a better setup, and what I will say is that sits, it would do, but it's on the table. That sits on there, and it just sits nicely in the groove there where the knuckles are. So it's in a really good position to use. You're straight into it, and then you just put it back on the roller at the back. So I think that's not something I was expecting. That's a real bonus for me. Equally, you could buy some of these little brackets and clamp it in. You could clamp it over there. You've got the flexibility with those little add-on quick release arms that they produce. So the only issue I've had, apart from learning how to put it on and getting it wrong a few times, but now I've sorted all that, the very first time I went out, it's quite easy to knock the little lever on the bracket so that the bracket's loose. And the first time I got the tray, that fell off and it nearly went in. That would have been a brilliant start. So what I do before I put it on is I just make sure they're in the tight position and then do it, because it's quite easy for them to get knocked when they're on the barrow or when you get into your peg or you put the tray down. So just make sure they're secure. I've not had a problem since, because I look out for that, and that's the only problem I've had with this side tray. I think it's been really well thought through. Like a lot of the Matrix gear that I review, they've thought about it, they've thought about the extending tray, and now they've come up with a folding tray that's better than that one. The thing with the extending tray is how big your tray was depended on that distance. This is the same size however you set it up with the legs on your box. I've done a lot of detail today because I think people like that, and my real world experience isn't what Matrix promo videos going to tell you. This costs, I think the RRP is around 110, the XL is around 120. I think in the world of side trays, that's what I expected them to be when I first saw the video. I think it's good value. I think it's gonna last for years. I mean, I've had my extending one, I think, for 7 years. It's still going strong. These are well made. There's no reason why it shouldn't last for 20 years plus. Obviously, there's winding mechanisms, but I've never had any of the Matrix ones fail on me. I think they make it really well. If you've got any questions or comments on this, then please put them below. I'll come back to you as soon as I can. If you want to give me a like and subscribe, that's great. It's the last one this year. We're a week off Christmas now. Best wishes to everybody. More videos to come in the new year. Until then, tight lines.